Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder. Hope you guys enjoyed the 2 episodes from yesterday. Of course, I am double uploading for the majority of this week to make up for the couple of episodes I missed last week, so hope you guys don't mind the extra Pokemon content, as we are just going to jump right into it, currently with a rating of 1836. This team so far has been able to, really split the series, or the episodes of Road to Ranked with 1 win and 1 loss. So it'd be really nice to pick up 2 wins in a row, but I still am learning to play with the team as I go. In the second episode of yesterday, I asked you guys how often you wanted me to see me change my team, since I'm basically locked up for Worlds. I don't have any real main, in real life events to really think about for a while. I have more time to really build more teams for you guys. Nico from Italy is going to be our first opponent of the day with a rating of 1714, so I appreciate all the feedback that you guys gave me there. I also was curious as to whether you guys wanted to see me use maybe 2 different teams in one episode, so 1 team in the first episode and another team in the second. So any feedback would be great, as I'm going to be building more teams really very soon. Nico here has a team of Landers Team, Mamoswine, Thundurus, Cresselia, Talonflame, and Charizard, so very solid team. I think the Charizard-Cresselia combo is always slightly intimidating because Cresselia, of course, gets access to Moonlight, and Charizard can set up the Sun, which boosts Cresselia and how much HP it heals from Moonlight every turn. So that's always kind of scary to go up against. And of course, my opponent has the double Genie combo with Thundurus and Landers T, and that's always just a frightening duo to go up against. So let's see. Hydra is really good because Charizard can't really hit it for too hard damage, nor can Cresselia, so I'm going to need that to really beat the main core of my opponent's team. Kind of want to lead with Gengar. Gengar's just always a safe lead. Gengar, and I actually really like Gengar Conkeldurr. The only thing that really threatens the Conkeldurr is the Talonflame. And I'm leaning towards Hydreigon and Metagross as the back two, but I don't know, Thundurus is decent here because it can taunt the Cresselia, it can Thunder Wave things, most importantly it can T-Bolt the Talonflame and the Charizard, but Thundurus really doesn't like going up against Mamoswine, and that's kind of my biggest concern right now. So the question is whether I want to have Thundurus in the back so I can switch into a potential Talonflame attack and then Thunderbolt. You know what? I think I'm going to go with these 4 and lock in, and we'll see how it plays out. I feel like Gengar Conkeldurr is pretty solid, but, the thing about Conkeldurr is it feels kind of weird having it on this team because Conkeldurr is so slow that even with Icy Wind and Tailwind support, it is still slower than most of the format, which is why, I typically like to use Terrakion a bit more, and Terrakion would have been fantastic here, as my opponent leads with Talonflame and Charizard, so now I really do wish I brought the Thundurus. Really was not anticipating that as a lead for my opponent, but, it is what it is. I think what I want to do here is Sludge Bomb Talonflame immediately. I think I should switch Conkeldurr out here just because Conkeldurr beats the Pokemon my opponent probably has in the back. So I kind of want to switch it out into Hydreigon here, so you can take the Brave Bird, Sludge Bomb knocks out Talonflame, and then Charizard goes for something like a Heat Wave. And yeah, this is what I'm going to go for. I really can't afford to lose Conkeldurr this early on in the match because it's essential in beating the Landorus, the Thundurus, the Mamoswine, as it can just Ice Punch and Drain Punch those 3 Pokemon. So, my opponent definitely outled me here. And I do wish, maybe leading Thundurus would have been a bit better, but of course the Landorus T and the Mamoswine scared me off from doing that. So, that's a sign of a well-constructed team when you can threaten the Pokemon that threaten your other Pokemon. So Talonflame actually goes for the Tailwind, smartly not targeting into the Conkeldurr slot. Great play by my opponent there. I am going to get a Sludge Bomb off, and it should do a ton of damage. Let's see, and gets the Poison, actually, which is fortunate. So that Talonflame's going to go down real soon. As Charizard launches a Heat Wave, that's going to connect with both of my Pokemon. So, it was not good that my opponent was able to get this Tailwind up, as it is going to bring my Gengar down to its Focus Sash. Now let's see. Yeah, that Tailwind definitely caught me off guard, but it was a great move there, really risk-free. So, once again, leading Thundurus would have been a lot better. But now my opponent's just going to want to Brave Bird, Hydreigon, and Heat Wave. So the obvious play here is just to protect Hydreigon and switch out into Conkeldurr. And I kind of need this Hydreigon because it gets a lot of damage off against Charizard, so I'm going to go for this play. Conkeldurr is obviously going to take damage from the Heat Wave. My opponent might also be smart enough to Brave Bird that spot, predicting the Conkeldurr switch in, but I'm just going to play it safe because I really need to style out the Tailwind, and the Poison on Talonflame actually helps out because I can try to get it to faint from the Poison. So Talonflame making an excellent read. My opponent playing fantastically right now. Brave Birding into the Conkeldurr slot. That is going to, mean that he's going to end up KOing himself from this recoil damage. So that's alright. But the Charizard probably also went for the Heat Wave, which is obviously going to knock out the... oh, wow. The Focus Blast. Okay. So that makes a bit more sense as to why my opponent went for that play. But he definitely got the better end of it, obviously, as he was able to do a ton of damage to the conch there as Focus Blast Charizard, man. Let's see, that's one turn of Tailwind gone, but if that Landorus is Scarf, things aren't looking too hot for me. Let's see. Because all my opponent has to do now is Heat Wave and Superpower the Hydra. I think I have to sack the Gengar here. I'm gonna go for... Oops. Yeah, I'll Mach Punch the Landorus to break a potential Focus Sash. Switch it to Gengar. Let both of my Conkeldurr and Hydreigon faint. Then I can have let Conkeldurr and Gengar faint. Then I'm gonna have Hydreigon and Metagross, to which I can Mega Evolve. And get rid of... And Tailwind's obviously gonna expire there. So Mach Punch does a decent amount there to Landorus. Oh, with the critical hit. And yeah, Charizard just launches the Heat Wave there. Not much reason not to Heat Wave there. And you should never use Focus Blast unless you're absolutely required to. So good play by my opponent there, picking up the KO on both Pokemon. So already a very scary situation for me, and this is one of the times where I kind of wish I had Ice Punch on Metagross, because it would be able to allow me to one-hit KO that Landorus immediately. But not much I can do right now. So I'm gonna bring out Hydra and Charizard. And I have to double protect here to just stall out this last turn of Tailwind. My opponent can just easily play around this by switching out the Landorus into, whatever he has in the back, whether it's Mamoswine or Thundurus, or maybe if it's Crest, it can still possible to win this one. Because then I can double up into Charizard, but I'm also not sure how fast the Charizard is here. But we did see it outspeed Landorus, so that reveals to me, obviously, Landorus is not Choice Scarf. It could be Banded. Landorus is going to pull out the switch there, so good play by my opponent. And it is going to be Mamoswine, so things not looking too hot right now. As I'm going to Mega Evolve with Metagross and double protect, but that's not really going to allow me to do much. Yeah, the Thundurus, the Charizard Talonflame lead was just too much to deal with, honestly. And, I think I could have let Thundurus Gengar instead and had Metagross in the back to switch into potential Mamoswine attack. But I'm going to double protect here, as he's probably going to go for a Heat Wave, yeah. So, Tailwind expires here, but... Let's see, what can I even go for? If Metagross is Scarfed, it's basically GG. So the Iron Head into Mamoswine is somewhat obvious. I think I'm just going to double into Charizard here. He's actually going to withdraw that. Good play there. If Mamoswine protects here, it's still possible to squeak out with a win. Though it's probably not going to protect. I would anticipate it not protecting. Might have went just straight for the Earthquake. I would think it's... Oh wow, he went for the Ice Shard. Which shouldn't KO me? Yeah, hang on with 17 HP. Okay. So I get the Zen Headbutt off. I am going to get a Dark Pulse off as well. That should KO it, but I think my opponent still got this in the bag. Let's see. Yeah, I actually faint from the Life Orb damage as well, so that's unfortunate. And Sunlight fades here, but that was a great switch by my opponent. Yeah, I feel like I should have just... at the end, I knew I was already behind, so I should have, targeted things a bit more aggressively. He's going to bring out Charizard here. All he has to do is Earthquake, Heat Wave. So Iron Head, Mamoswine, if I can somehow knock it down, he misses Heat Wave, then I can Zen Headbutt flinch. But he's actually going to continue to use Ice Shard. Okay. So, if I can knock it out here and he misses a Heat Wave, maybe things are still possible. I do pick up the knockout into Mamoswine with a crit, actually, so... let's see if he misses the Heat Wave there. Probably not, though. Hey, you never know. And he is going to connect, so that's going to be a 1-0 win for my opponent, but he was really one step ahead of me for the majority of the game. Like, right from the start, leading Conkeldurr against Charizard Talonflame was not ideal at all, and I honestly did not consider that lead combination from my opponent, given that, it was so weak to Thundurus. But my opponent obviously just went for it, and it ended up working out alright, so... One of the cases where, this is why in Team Preview you should really consider all the possible leads your opponent can have. In this case, I didn't really think Charizard and Thundurus, or Charizard Talonflame would be possible, and as a result, my opponent was able to heavily punish me for it. He also made some plays at the end, or great plays, and I should have tried to predict the possible play in case, I could have gotten a chance to get back into the game. But that was a really great for turn 1 Tailwind from there, because it just put on so much more pressure. Whereas if my opponent didn't have Tailwind, for example, the Metagross would have been able to outspeed, obviously, the majority of my opponent's team. Gengar would have been able to outspeed the Charizard as well, so really have to stress how great of a play that was for my opponent on the first turn. And, yeah, I mean, this team doesn't fare too well against Tailwind when I don't have Thundurus or Suicune, as we're going to find a 1926 opponent for the second opponent of the day, so picking up a win here would be nice after game 1 loss. With a very standard looking rain team here, Politoed, Ludicolo, Hydreigon, Mawile, Aegislash, and Thundurus. So, rain, a very popular strategy in VGC. This kind, the Politoed, Ludicolo, Hydreigon, Aegislash, and Mawile were actually all on Ray Rizzo's team, I believe. It was just all the rain teams you might have seen in VGC 2014. Sagen had most of these as well. Thundurus replaces the Zapdos, but it makes sense because, it can get the Prankster Taunt and Thunder Wave. So this is definitely a scary matchup to look at right from the start. Now let's see. I really want to lead Thundurus Gengar this time around because, oops, going to my summary screen there. Now this is a really tough game because I can't figure out which Pokemon I want to bring because all 6 are really good in this matchup. Conkeldurr beats the 4 special, or everything except the Mawile really. But obviously I'm very scared of Mawile and it's so, actually no, I like leading Conkeldurr, yeah. I'm gonna lead Conkeldurr Gengar with, Hydra on the back. I'm thinking maybe I actually shouldn't bring Metagross in this one, because, I can't really one-hit KO anything. So I'm actually very tempted to go with Thundurus or Suicune over it. I actually like Suicune a lot in this match, because other than the Thundurus, and, it's weak to Thundurus and Suicune, but the thing is, it can Scald Mawile, which is kind of a big deal. It can take advantage of Politoed's Rain, but I don't know, maybe it doesn't get enough damage off, so maybe Thundurus is the best call here. Or Metagross. I mean, Metagross is never a bad Pokemon to bring, but I'm just wondering whether it's really worth it in this match or not. But, let's see, if he brings Mawile... I ended up going up with Suicune because it can Tailwind, and Suicune gives Mawile a fair amount of trouble, given how bulky it is, I can switch into Play Roughs and then Scald and Tailwind, so Suicune here is mainly to beat Mawile, but if my opponent brings a Politoed, then I can, take advantage of that since Politoed can't really touch it, so we'll see how this goes. But he's going to lead with Thundurus and Hydreigon, I believe. Yep. Against my Conkeldurr and Gengar. So this is a fairly solid lead matchup just because this Conkeldurr is really, really threatening. And let's see. I think I'm going to immediately want to knock out this Thundurus because of how annoying it is to deal with Suicune. And once Thundurus goes down, my opponent doesn't have a great way to deal with Suicune. And the, the Drain Punch into Hydreigon here is relatively obvious. He has a bunch of options here. I don't know what item the Hydreigon has. Could be Specs or Life Orb, the 2 common items on Hydra. So he could Protect here, he could switch out, or he could just go for an attack, for example, maybe a double target into the Gengar. Though Thundurus here, I would imagine, wants to Thunder Wave the Gengar or taunt it. He is going to switch out the Hydra. I'm expecting maybe a Mawile switch in here, as it is going to be the Mawile. I was very tempted to Will-O-Wisp that slot, but I figured it wasn't worth going for if he taunted the Gengar, though in retrospect, he's probably going to Thunder Wave me here, but let's see. Yep, he does go for the Thunder Wave. So good play by him there. I didn't want to risk, dealing with the potential, taunt, but my opponent definitely, made the better play there. I get a Sludge Bomb off, though, and that Thundurus is not even Citrus Berry, which is interesting. Ice Punch here, barely misses out on the knockout, but it's leftovers, which makes a bit more sense. So, really wish I could have picked up the knockout there on Thundurus, but, that Mawile switching was a really great move on my opponent's end. So, let's see. See, I want to conserve this Conkeldurr because Conkeldurr beats the Rain, Poly, the Ludi, the Hydra on my opponent's team. Man, I really wish I Will-O-Wisp the Mawile switch him, but I was hoping I could pick up the knockout onto Thundurus. So let's see, my opponent here could be smart and double up into Gengar with a T-Bolt and an Iron Head, expecting Gengar to, or Conkeldurr to switch out. I don't know, the play rough play on to Conkeldurr is quite obvious. So you know what, I'm gonna just try to knock out this Thunderous because right now that's the most important thing, and I need this Suicune to really take advantage of it. So I'm expecting to double target into Gengar. You know, if you play roughs, that's fine. But it would be bad, of course, if I was able. Oh wow! Did he protect with Mawile as well? Yeah. So Thunderous revealing Protect. Not what I was expecting. As Ice Punch and Gengar's fully paralyzed there, that's fine. I mean, so it's interesting because we saw Protect Thunderous on Road to Rank the other day as well. Now this is interesting to me because it means it probably doesn't have Taunt, so I can try to Will-O-Wisp this Mawile. But of course you can just double up into Gengar, so I feel like I should just Ice Punch Thunderous once again and go for the Will-O-Wisp onto the Mawile. Just because once it's burned, it can't really do very much, especially against Suicune, so I'm going to go for that play. He actually withdraws the Thunderous, which is good because it means I should get a Will-O-Wisp off here, as long as he doesn't say, fully paralyze me or flinch me, because he might Iron Head Gengar, but I don't know. I think I might actually be losing the Conkeldurr here, which I don't mind very much, given that my opponent's last Pokemon is the Aegislash, but he does go for the Iron Head into Gengar, so this would be huge if I get the Will-O-Wisp off. But of course, there's the flinch and the paralysis factor. So Ice Punch into the Aegislash, obviously not going to do anything. Gengar flinches. And I can't really complain, but it's like I would have gotten so much momentum if I got in that burn off, so definitely frustrating. Let's see. So I am going to switch into Suicune now. I can't afford to lose Conkeldurr to a player off, and I'm just going to try to Will-O-Wisp Mawile again. But, yeah. I was not expecting that to be a Protect Thunderous. I mean, I guess I didn't have Taunt, though, so I could have tried to predict the Mawile switch in. I still don't regret the play I made, but, you know, it would have been nice. But he's going to sub up here with the Aegislash, as I would assume Mawile is going to target down Gengar here with an Iron Head, as he is. Which makes sense, you know, there's really no reason not to. Just because, like, Conkeldurr's not really going to do anything, right? So, now at least I get to bring in Hydreigon for free. Now this is interesting because I actually threatened the Mawile a fair amount. So I'm going to Tailwind here with my Suicune. And... I really want to Dark Pulse the Aegislash to knock out the Substitute. Because the Mawile, you know, obviously right now is probably just expecting the Fire Blast, but I don't know, if I'm my opponent here, I'd probably attack with Mawile, and I actually don't run Fire Blast because I run Earth Power to try to knock out Heatrans and whatnot. So this is kind of an important turn for me. I'm gonna Tailwind and... You know what, screw it, I'm just gonna Dark Pulse Aegislash. Okay, he withdraws Mawile, great. As we're probably gonna see Suicune come in here. Not Suicune. Oh, it's gonna be Hydra, actually, which is great news for me. Because now with the Tailwind, I'm gonna be able to outspeed it, so this works out in my favor. Dark Pulse to knock out the sub, and Suicune's gonna be able to set up a Tailwind as well. Let's see how this plays out. Yep, I get the Tailwind up. Aegislash probably gonna go for a Shadow Ball into Suicune or a Flash Cannon onto Hydra. Well, maybe he was gonna go for like a Sacred Sword, which would be really, really bad for me right now. Okay, but it's going to be Shadow Ball, which is good. Shouldn't do more than like 40% at most. Hopefully no special defense drop. Perfect. So that works out in my favor. I mean, the Draco target into Hydra is so obvious, so I want to predict the Mawile switch in right now. Okay, I'm gonna Scald the Hydra. I don't know. I really don't think my opponent's gonna keep in the Hydreigon here, but like I have the advantage right now, so I really can't mess up. I'm gonna Draco and Scald it. If he stays in, he gets KO'd. If he switches out, Draco doesn't do anything, but Scald gets off into Mawile, putting it in Earth Power KO range. He's going to switch out, though. So let's see whether it's going to be Mawile or Thunderous. As it is going to be Mawile, so good switch by my opponent there. and Aegislash just goes for the stance change. So that works out in my favor. You know, like I said, I could have aggressively targeted out Mawile, but the risk versus reward management, I just thought it was not worth it. Especially because I still have Tailwind up, so I'm not going to mind here, especially because now I can just Dark Pulse the Aegislash this following turn. As Scald does a sizable amount of damage and gets the burn there, so making up for the Will-O-Wisp miss earlier on. So let's see. That's one turn of Tailwind gone, but hey, I feel pretty good right now. Especially because now with Mawile burned, once I knock out Mawile, Conkeldurr really has a fantastic time in this match. So I think I'm just going to Scald the Aegislash here and Earth Power Mawile. Protect might come out from Mawile. He's actually going to switch out Aegislash, which is fine. Probably into the, yeah, Hydra, which is what I thought. To take a potential Dark Pulse. But yep, he's not going to protect with that Mawile, so this Earth Power should be able to knock it out. Of course, boosted by Life Orb, as it does pick up the KO, so burn not even really mattering there. But basically, yeah, the reason why I went for Scald there was the turn before was because I knew I could KO it with an Earth Power the following turn. So my Suicune here is going to get a Scald off against the Hydreigon as well. That's obviously not going to do too much damage, but breaks the potential Focus Sash and gets the burn. So I definitely got to feel good right now, given that Conkeldurr is still saved up in the back. So those turns of me predicting my opponent not to target Conkeldurr really ended up being helpful. I would imagine Thundurus is going to come out here, but I guess we'll see. If it's not Thundurus, it is going to be Thundurus. Okay. So now this is a bit interesting because I've got one more turn of Tailwind. Actually, this is what I'm going to do. I am just going to Ice Beam the Thundurus and switch out into Conkeldurr. If he goes for the Thunder Wave onto Hydreigon, he's going to screw himself over because he's going to end up paralyzing my Guts Conkeldurr. You know, one question I get a lot is what ability do you have in your Conkeldurr? And I am running Guts because you can switch into attacks like Thunder Wave and Will-O-Wisp and take advantage of it. Of course, there's a chance that my opponent, for example, goes for a Protect with Thundurus and targets down the Suicune, maybe. But I don't know. I'm not too worried about my position right now. Of course, you never really want to switch out when you have Tailwind up, but I feel like this is really worth the play. Because I outspeed Thundurus right now, too, given that I have Tailwind up. So I'm going to bring in Conk. And I also kind of need the Hydra to finish off my opponent's Aegislash. She's actually going to go for the Protect with Thundurus. A nice play here. Let's see if Hydra protects as well. It's not going to protect, so good play there by my opponent. Draco Meteor is going to come out here onto the Conk, so you know, that's obviously going to do a ton of damage that I'm not going to enjoy taking. A lot of damage there. I'm guessing it's actually Specs Conkeldurr based off how much damage it did. So Suicune going to heal a bit back from that leftovers, but yeah. Let's see. Tailwind Peter's out there. So that was a great play by my opponent. I really thought he would just Thunder Wave the Hydra. So, you know, I could have just Draco'd Hydra and Ice Beam Thundurus instead, but I thought the Hydra might have had Protect. But, you know, like I said, based off that damage output, I am guessing it is Spexed. So, let's see. You can just Draco Conkeldurr once again. He's at -2. How much did that first Draco do? 129 damage. So I think I can take another one, but he can obviously just double up into Conkeldurr. I think I'm just gonna Ice Beam the Thundurus and Mach Punch the Hydra here. Yeah, if Hydra switches out into Aegislash, which it might, then Ice Beam should knock out Thundurus. Though, I don't know, it's pretty bulky, so we'll see. But that Sludge Bomb did over 50% on turn 1, so I'm assuming it's more on the offensive end. Okay, he is going to stay in, which is what I anticipated, which is great. So Mach Punch plus Burn should be able to pick up the knockout here. Draco comes out once again, targeting down Conkeldurr. Let's see if I can survive this. Yeah, I hang on with 14 HP, that's great. Thundurus, T-Bolts into Suicune. Okay, let's see if that knocks me out. Oh, okay, I hang out with 5 HP. That's awesome. So we'll see how much this Ice Beam does. But yeah, really clutch turn from both of my Pokemon. And the reason why I went for Mach Punch onto Hydreigon instead of the Drain Punch was... okay, Ice Beam picks up the knockout. That's fantastic. So that's going to basically be a win here for me, actually. So that Will-O-Wisp burn ended up being pretty helpful on Hydra. I mean, I didn't... Not Will-O-Wisp, the Scald burn. Of course, I could have just Drain Punched it there, but the reason I didn't was because I was afraid of a potential double target into Conkeldurr. You know, my opponent might have predicted Suicune to protect there. So, you know, I just went for that play knowing that I could take another Draco, so he'd have to double into Conkeldurr to knock it out. Otherwise, Mach Punch plus Burn would knock out Hydreigon. So now I can just Scald and knock off. And yeah, like he's not even gonna bother king shielding here, so you know, if he targets down Suicune, then he's just gonna lose. His Scald goes 3 for 3 on burns in this game. That's incredible. But yeah, he's gonna try to sub up here with Aegislash, but I do have to knock off, so that's gonna knock out the substitute. And at this point, you know, there's no way in Aegislash. It's really difficult for Aegislash to really win 2-on-1 when both of the Pokemon have neutral type attacks, because, you know, with Substitute, you want to set up sub, but the thing is, you know, the Pokemon can just do a lot of damage to you before you sub, or, you know, in this case, since Conkeldurr slower, it can just dish out damage as well. So my opponent's going to forfeit there, as I am going to be able to take a 3-1 win against a pretty cool Rain team, although my opponent did not actually bring Rain throughout the course of the match. Couple surprises there, especially the Protect on the Thundurus, but Conkeldurr being able to hang around was really important, and in the end, I am able to notch a win against a 1900 rated player, so that's awesome. Lots of fun, and yeah, you know, like we keep on splitting all the episodes 1-1, but lots of good lessons to learn, and like I said, this team still has a couple of weaknesses, so I'm still building on that. But hope you guys enjoyed this one, and of course there will be another episode later tonight. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys, and I'll see you later. Peace.